My name is Morgan Daigneault. I am an Aspen implementation specialist on the Aspen Discovery team. So I am one of the people who helps kind of onboard and usher libraries through the implementation process, help with training, resources, and making sure that you're prepared to go live. And before Bywater, I worked in libraries for several years, previously as a youth services librarian. So libraries are very near and dear to my heart. I will pass it on to Cal.
Hi, my name is Cal Marquise. I also do the same thing as Morgan. So I'm an Aspen implementation specialist here at Bywater Solutions. My background is also in public libraries. I worked in public libraries for about 8 years prior to my time at Bywater, outreach and public service mostly. So I love being able to work with libraries going through the implementation process and thinking about that patron's perspective and using all of that, years in library service to still get to be able to work with you all and work with libraries. So it's just really amazing that we get to do what we get to do every day. All right, so if you've attended a webinar with us, we love to always talk and start talking about Aspen with our 4 goals. So this is very appropriate and timely with the implementation process because our implementation process is very goal-driven, and all of our developments and work that we do within Aspen all come down to these 4 goals. So we want to make sure that your catalog it maximizes the usage of all your library materials. So we know that libraries are phenomenal resources of so much things besides just books. So we see special collections, we see, e-content resources that you have. So we want to make sure that your patrons know all about those wonderful things. We want to make sure that also Aspen can be a home, a one-stop shop for all of those great resources and collections that you have. So what that means is we like to be able to offer a place where a patron can come in and just perform one search and to be able to access your Canopy titles and your Overdrive titles and your Hoopla titles and your Cloud Library titles all in one place. With that, we want to make sure that it's super easy for patrons to use, that it's intuitive, that it's modern, that it's like a lot of other things that they search all the time and that they use. It's familiar. And then we didn't forget about all of our amazing library staff because we're all librarians ourselves. So we want to make sure that it's easy for you all to set up and manage and customize and make your own. Okay, so we're going to talk about a little bit how we do that and what the timeline for an implementation looks like. So bear in mind, we work with all kinds of different libraries with all kinds of different configurations. So we work with large consortiums with hundreds of library locations. We work with one single branch library. We work with multiple different underlying ILS. Sitting on top with Aspen sitting on top. So all of this is completely customized to the partner that we're working with or the library that we're working with. But typically we kind of stay within this implementation timeline. So first off, we meet you. We get to say hi. We get to talk a little bit to get to know you and know your community and know what's important to you. Know what maybe current issues you're having with your catalog, or know what things that you're looking for in Aspen. So we're gonna have a quick meeting. We're gonna go over this process again, and we're gonna kind of set up the rest of our sessions together. Throughout the rest of the sessions, we have typically about 1 to 1.5 hour sessions where we're going over a variety of topics. So that would be on this slide, the planning and site setup, the admin, catalog. So each of those sessions, we're building on a separate part of Aspen. So we're going to assign you some homework, like a little bit of action items is the nice way to say it, after we meet. And then you're going to be taking what you've learned that week and creating your Aspen catalog. So we're going to be working on little pieces throughout the implementation process, eventually leading up to where we're going to show off all this hard work that we've been doing the last few weeks together to all of your frontline staff. So this 2 to 3 weeks before go live, we do a patron experience training. That's an hour and a half where we're going to make sure that all of your frontline staff are trained on those questions that they're going to be getting from your patrons on day one. So where are my holds? Where are my checkouts? How can I look at my reading history or make a list? So we're going to go over all of that with your frontline staff and make sure that they're, super prepared to do those things. Throughout this whole process, again, we're going to go back into goals a lot and make sure that we're, focusing on those areas that we talked about originally, that we're, connecting to all of your databases and resources and e-content and all of that you offer, that we're helping you customize your catalog exactly how you want it to look. And again, we're going to have a lot, like some checklists and action items to keep us all on track during the process.
All right. In addition to the timeline and the planning that we lay down at the very beginning of the process, you will also get access to an implementation site. This is your home base for information, resources, and scheduling all throughout your implementation. So at any given time, you can find what you're looking for, something that you have a question about. This implementation site will get you the information that you need. It includes project planning worksheets that has project details, action items, agendas for each session that we have, and places to keep track of, e-content and other integrations, so as far as status and whether they're up and ready to view or not. You'll also have links to recordings of your training sessions, meeting notes, and other resources. So this is kind of showing a screenshot of, the different sessions. We kind of clearly lay out who should be, attending these sessions, or at least what we recommend, the time commitment, links to view the meeting notes, action items. And we like to give a heads up, what are we going to cover? So we also go over this more in depth when we're at your planning session, but at any time, if you want a preview or just to, get ahead, you can always find out that information. Here are some more screenshots from the implementation site. You have access to things like checklists to help you prepare for going live and testing out your site just to make sure everything is working as expected. You have access to printable resources for patrons and staff, such as, quick start guides. How do I search the catalog? How do I, check the holds and checkouts on my account? All of these things that you can print and have available for anyone who needs it. You also have access to marketing resources. So this includes logo files, social media graphics, samples of like an email to send out in a newsletter, or just something to let your community know that you're getting a new catalog. And then, of course, you also have links to resources for getting involved in the Aspen community. We love and are so proud of our Aspen community that we've built. Even if you're not a partner right now, we welcome anyone to come to an Aspen gathering or to check out, our updates in an instant, which is our release notes and demos of new features, and our Aspen Weekly. So we like to make sure that everyone has a voice and can get as much involved or a little involved as you want, but we highly recommend getting involved because it's a lot of fun.
Before I talk about our additional resources, I also just want to point out, I love this feature that we have, but we use a calendar integration called Calendly, and you can, if these sessions where we're meeting are not enough, we encourage you have full access to our calendars. So if you just want to chat, if you just want us to like hold your hand, if you just want us to, clarify something or help you work on something, we love talking to our libraries. So you're always welcome to just schedule, additional 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour with us where we'll like walk you through whatever you want. So we do enjoy these. We get to like drink coffee with our library partners in the morning and, share stories and all of that. So it is super wonderful. For the Help Center, we have just launched a new home for all kinds of resources and tutorials, step-by-step information on how to do a specific thing in Aspen. So we just kind of wanted to show this off today, and it looks like they just dropped a link in the chat. But we're going to meet and we're going to give you a lot of great resources, but then you're going to go away and you're going to do things on your own. And we're releasing new things all the time. So we want to make sure that every new release and every time we update a new feature, that you have really detailed documentation of how to manage that thing that we released or that functionality in Aspen. So we really do want to make sure that you all are fully empowered to use all that Aspen has, like all of its amazing tools. So you can quickly search our help documentation, and it's also broken up the different areas that you might be looking to work in. So for example, there's a promotion section, which is perfectly pictured in this next slide. So maybe I'm looking to work in browse categories. I could go to up at the top to promote. I could select the browse category section, and I have an entire page with videos and step-by-step instructions and everything right at my fingertips to 24 hours a day to be able to learn how to do that thing.
Oop, I have to advance the slide. There we go.
Okay, so you might be thinking that this sounds wonderful, but you're wondering, how can I make this like extra successful or extra great, kind of getting ready for implementation? So we have a couple of just recommendations that we like to talk to you about. So thinking about what are your goals with Aspen Discovery. So why are you here? What are you looking for in this catalog that your current catalog isn't meeting your needs for now? We want to know that because we want to make sure that we have, and we're thinking about all of the ways that we can achieve that goal that you're looking to do, whether it's I want to promote and increase usage of a certain collection or my events or this certain database that I'm paying tens of thousands of dollars for that no one is clicking on. So we want to know that, and we have a number of different ways in Aspen to promote those things. So really we're getting to know you right from the beginning, and we need to know what your goals are. Because we work with, I think now, I don't even know what we're up to. There's a few more that are new. We work with about like 7 different underlying ILS platforms. So we want to talk to you, and we want you to kind of be reacquainted with your data if it's been a while since you've looked at it. So we want to know just generally where you store different bits of information. Do you use collection codes? Do you use item types? Do you have really awesome shelving locations that you want to make sure that in Aspen your patrons can search by shelving location? So just get reacquainted a little bit with your data beforehand because we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into it when we start meeting. I kind of mentioned this before, but are there special collections that you want to highlight? We have libraries that have American Girl doll collections. They have digital archives, amazing genealogy resources, scanned-in yearbooks. I mean, the variety of and the wealth of things that we get to see doing this and working with so many libraries is amazing. And with our Aspen community that's already here, I mean, we have thousands of library locations that are using Aspen. They probably have a similar collection, and we might be able to show you examples of how a library is currently highlighting that thing, or we can just kind of put our brains together and think about innovative ways that we can highlight and promote that thing within Aspen. Otherwise, just kind of thinking about the current list of vendors that you have, and things like Library Market or LibCal, if you use a digital archive, or all those e-content vendors. Do you have Canopy? Do you have Overdrive, Cloud Library? There's a number of different external resources that we can pull in. So just having kind of a rough idea of what you already subscribe to is super helpful at that point in the process. And then, of course, who should be involved? Is it going to be one man solo doing this for your whole library? Are you going to have a core team that's going to be working with us to get this all launched and set up? But yeah, just starting to kind of think through these few topics. Otherwise, we've done this quite a bit at this point, so we're going to get you there to the end. But right from the get-go, we just ask that you kind of have a general idea of these things.
Yeah, and I'll also add that, what you might have in mind at the beginning could change over the course of the implementation. You might learn about something more in depth and realize, oh, I actually need to I want to loop this person in to help work on it. And so luckily we record all of the training sessions, and we often hold additional, check-in sessions and Q&A sessions just to make sure that everyone is comfortable with the tools. The implementation process, these are guidelines, but ultimately we want to tailor everything, to your project, and make sure that it's working for you. Speaking more of implementation, this is kind of an overview of the different sessions. We saw a sneak preview of these on the timeline page, but I kind of wanted to break down a little more about what these sessions that we offer are. So like I said, we do offer individual, Q&A sessions and check-in sessions, but these are the core implementation sessions where we are kind of guiding you through the process, helping you make decisions, setting things up, etc. And it's, in addition to thinking of all the details and getting prepared, it really is an exciting process. I'm always excited when I help start a new project, and I love it when libraries get excited about all the things that are possible. And so these sessions are meant to show you all the things that are possible. So planning and setup is where we set ourselves up for success. We talk about your configuration, the settings you've chosen according to the setup survey we send out to you, answer any questions you have about getting set up. And we make sure that we're talking through the different sessions and, kind of brainstorming, how do we want to tackle this together? Having implemented so many different libraries, we have a good idea at the beginning of this is the best strategy, to get us started. But we always want to talk through it with you to make sure that it's going to work best for you. The administration session, that's kind of where we learn some of the higher level ongoing things that you might have to do, making sure that all the location and hours information are up to date and, how that manifests in the interface, making sure that you know how to add other administration users. And then we get into data and cataloging. We get to know your data. We want to know how you want your formats to appear in Aspen. How things should, perform so that they match your circulation rules. And then, we like to get to know the special and unique things about your collection, just so that we make sure that, we're highlighting them, that they're presented exactly how you want them to show. Then we get into some of the really fun stuff, or at least my personal favorite is the customization. This is where you make the theme your own. You get to create browse categories to feature different collections. You get to customize your theme even more with menu links, promote with collection spotlights and placards, create staff lists. There's just so many different ways to make Aspen your own. And it's just one of my favorite things. And then we also offer a web builder session where we dive into the web builder functionality. In case you didn't know, you can build your entire website out in Aspen if you want. So some libraries, it's really cool to see them be able to ditch their old web presences and just switch over entirely to Aspen. It's also really cool when some smaller libraries are able to build their web presence for the first time ever beyond just a Facebook page. So it all comes built in with Aspen. It's so cool. And then we have other sites who, they already have a really cool website, but it's nice to be able to offer things like custom forms, in case you want to have people sign up for a STEM kit club or a book club or something. Or just supplemental pages to help bolster the catalog presence. So whether you want to use it for everything or nothing, there's a lot of options in the web builder. So speaking of all this cool stuff, we thought it would be really fun to show you some examples of Aspen in action. So let me stop this presentation really quick and move over my window. All right, can everyone still see what's going on here? Okay, good. So we're bringing up Darien Library first. This is a really great example of the possibilities with customization. They have done some customization work with CSS code. And it just has really beautiful results. I love what they've done with their menu links up here. There's like that little colorful line that just a little extra delightful surprise. They've done some work with their cover images. I love how it just makes the cover images pop off of the page. Gosh, and I really wish it was still summer reading, because they had a really cool summer reading browse category where they had uploaded different lists. And with staff lists, you can upload covers, custom covers for your list. So just imagine one of these browse categories was for kids. And based on the different age level for summer reading, they had different marine animals to go along with the theme. So it was like list for, early elementary and list for teens. And it was really fun. Let's see. Anything else I'm forgetting to mention about Darien Cal?
I've just never heard a librarian say, I wish it was still summer reading. So that says something.
Touche. But yeah, I mean, I loved seeing how the different Aspen sites, even ones that we're not featuring here, like be able to promote summer reading with their Aspen catalog. Some sites had a system message up at the top, and it was just a big header image that linked to, register for summer reading. It was super cool.
Yeah, and we had some that changed their banner at the top with the summer reading theme. So it was almost like their whole catalog was like underwater for the summer.
Yes. And speaking for the big header images, we love how McKinney has their kind of entire header is a logo. I think it really just adds to the feel that they were going for their site. You can see that they've also done some really cool customization with their browse categories, as far as like making sure that the currently selected one is very visible. And I don't even think they necessarily used a bunch of CSS customization. I think a lot of this is just, built in, maybe with the rounded browse categories, but just shows you some more possibilities. They've also incorporated some menu links up here, including a kids catalog. So they actually, in Aspen, you can create a catalog experience just for your younger patrons. So they were able to scope their collections just to the juvenile collections, and tailor this for the younger library patrons. I also want to point out something super cool about McKinney's site is that they also purchased another Bywater product called Metabase, and they have a link to their public dashboard that shows the library usage statistics. I just think that's so cool to be able to show people, how many people are borrowing from the library, how the library is being used. Some libraries out there, I know they have like the little, the checkout receipts have, you've saved this much from your library. Like, I feel like this is kind of the library catalog equivalent of that, like just showing how many people use it. It's super cool. And as far as Web Builder, I wanted to show off Benson Memorial Library. They have made their entire website with the Web Builder. And it just looks really cool. I love their little fall schedule graphic up here. I can't believe it's going to be fall already. They have some, new at the library, and they've embedded a link to their calendar here. They have their hours of operation, and they've made a bunch of different pages just in Aspen. So there's a lot of different options for layouts and all kinds of stuff. So they have built a ton of things. They have the resource page. This isn't even in the web builder. This is just something that Aspen can generate for you. So I love that you can make such an awesome and useful catalog without any sort of HTML or coding knowledge whatsoever. Ooh, and they even have a chat widget down here. So that's another thing with Aspen, you can embed JavaScript widgets to enhance your site even further. All right, well, let me return to our presentation here, if I can find it. Oop.
So Morgan and Cal, while y'all are changing screens, there's a question about data. Is there anything specific that the library should think about as far as their data goes when they start preparing for an implementation?
Yeah, Cal and I were playing mute tag. Yeah, I would say that you kind of want an idea of your different item types and things, and mostly it's like you might have hundreds of different item types, but maybe they all don't need to display as their own individual format. Maybe kids DVDs, adult DVDs, teen DVDs, you all want those to display as one format DVD. And we do have spreadsheets to help you think about these things, especially for other ILSs that Bywater doesn't currently support, like Symphony and Sierra and all these. Our spreadsheets will help you. We ask for exactly what we need, and you can make decisions along the way. Do these things need to be suppressed? Are they just in library use only? Things like that. So it's good to think about it, but luckily Aspen, since it is ILS agnostic, it's built to work with many different ILSs. So at the end of the day, it's going to bring in your data and it's going to get you like pretty much almost all the way there. It just involves some tweaking depending on your unique cataloging situation.
And then there's a question, does Aspen use Ferber? Apologies if this was covered already. So it's a great question.
Great question. It does, and we love it. In Aspen, we use Ferberization to group the same title and author and expression of the work together. So when patrons are navigating your catalog, they can easily, just by searching for like a title, for example, they can see all of the available formats that they can choose from, and all of that availability just by quickly scanning the record. So for popular titles, that's a great example. If I don't care if it's a large print or if it's an audiobook or it's a Kindle or a playaway, I just want to get it today. It makes it really, really easy for me to quickly see that without having to scan through multiple pages of results or having to understand how to manipulate like a bunch of different facets.
And then if you'd like to stay on past the 30 minutes, we can kind of dive in a little bit deeper on that if you'd like. And then there was an internal question said, did Morgan just say that you do not work with Circe Symphony? We do work with Symphony. We have a lot of libraries that are on Symphony.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry if I gave the wrong impression. No, I meant we do work with a bunch of different ILSs, including Sierra and Symphony. All right. I just want to reiterate that at the end of the day, we are doing this for the patrons. So we try to keep the patron experience at the forefront of the implementation process, thinking about, how they're going to interact with your catalog and get the best experience out of Aspen Discovery. So we want to get you the resources that you need to promote everything that you have to offer to your communities. Oh, and Ruth in the chat has a question. Let's see. You showed some standalone libraries, but do you have any consortia we can look at? 100%. We have so many consortia you can look at.
So as she's going through there, we have anywhere from the Colorado Library, Colorado group, which has 127 libraries on it, to folks like Swan that have over 100 libraries. So we have a lot of different consortia, and Aspen was built with consortia in mind.
That's a great question.
The one that we showed for Benson, I don't know if that, I didn't see in the chat if that was there, but that's actually a part of a consortium as well. So they have their own customized look and feel in Aspen if I was just a patron accessing Benson, but they are a part of a greater Crawford Federated Library Services, I believe is the correct official term. So we do work with tons of consortia. We love working with them. More questions? Answer?
And we will stay past the 30 minutes. Cal does have to go off. So that's why we're kind of
I have to go to an implementation right now. So I'm actually going to leave, but it's such a pleasure to talk with everyone today.
Thank you, Cal.
Yes, yeah.
Peter's asking, is Aspen hosted in the cloud by you? So yes, we use Google servers to host our Aspen sites. We do also have some partners who have elected to host their own Aspen sites as well. But we do host by default. Thank you, Leah.
So Morgan, do you want to pull up an example site and then let's do a search to show the ferberization?
Yeah, of course.
So if you you want to show one that's a consortia, that then we can show how those would work.
Sure. Let's go to MetroShare. So MetroShare is a Texas consortium, and you can see some of their member libraries linked up here at the top. This is the main consortial catalog. So if I'm searching in this view, I'm searching their entire collection. And you can see that indicated here. So this is pulling in items owned by all of the MetroShare libraries. So if someone, maybe a staff member, or maybe someone from the public, if they wanted to see where something is, you can easily see where the items are located, where they're available right now. If you decide to go to one of the member libraries though, so here I'm at Burleson's, you don't necessarily see an indication that they're a part of a consortium to a patron, Burleson, this is my library. They might not necessarily need to know about the other libraries. But if I do the same search here, so by default, they do have it searching all of MetroShare still, but I can just search within Burleson Public Library. And you can even change which is the default search. So if you want to immediately direct your patrons to your items and then they would have to switch afterwards, it's totally up to you. And some libraries have another search facet over here, depending on how close they are to other member libraries. So you could have a facet that says available now at, and it shows you where things are at the other libraries in the consortium.
And this is a great example of the ferberization too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing here, we have ebook and Kindle. So Overdrive does provide both, and we did separate those out based off partner recommendation and suggestions, so that when the patron goes in, they can pick what they're viewing this off of and do the correct download.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes, we think so too. I love how Aspen automatically groups together with ferberization. It is looking at the common title and common author to combine formats together. But Aspen also provides the ability to manually group or ungroup works as well. So you can fine tune things as much as you like as well.
So while we're here, Morgan, we should do local history here at Burlington.
Ooh, yeah.
Type in local history. And if anybody wants to log off, please do. We'll go through and show some more examples, kind of do a demo, but we'll stay on as long as you all want.
Yeah. Ooh. So they have a great placard. This is a good example of a placard. And these are triggered by specific keywords or phrases that you define. So typing in local history in this case, when they set this placard up, they said, okay, this phrase is going to trigger this placard, and it points users to their Texas history portal. So placards are a great way to help promote your archive collections, your resources, events. We have some libraries, oh gosh, I love showing off Arlington's in particular, because I think it's such a great example. They made placards for read-alikes. So when you search for the title Anxious People, when that was a lot more popular than it is now, it had a bunch of people on the wait list. This would pop up when you do a search for that or the author. And then if you click that, it takes you out to a staff list that they curated of read-alike titles. And so we have several libraries started adopting this and making read-alikes as placards. So I love showing
They
that.
also have events.
They do, I think.
Yeah, just
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
If you want to pull up maybe Uinta.
Yes. All right, so we have Uinta's site. This is another site that's built their entire Aspen site in Web Builder. And they have a lot of different integrations for history and archives. And they do also have events. You see this right front and center. They have integrated with library calendar by library market. So if I switch this to events, I could put in a search term here, but doing a blank search will just retrieve all of their events. So it pulls up the different events. You can narrow it by age group or by the type of program over here, or even where it's located. And then clicking on this brings you out to that event page where you can find out more and perhaps sign up.
So at this time, there's no integration with Advanced, but we can do website indexing. And oftentimes we're able, when we do that indexing, it does pull in Advanced. We do connect with LibCal by SpringShare. If you want to show Boynton Beach,
Yeah.
Cal, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. So.
Oh gosh, I do not know their URL at the top of my head. Is it Boynton.Aspen Discovery?
I have to look it up.
I got it. All right. So this is LibCal integration. So it looks similar. Any events that you are able to register for, we'll have the register button here. And for any event, you can click on it to find out more.
Also, these are specific to the library. So if you're in a consortia and you have different libraries that have different calendars that they connect to, different archives, different e-content, we can do them individually by the library. So we have the ability to be able to scope it to that level. I think Main Library has both Library Market and LibCal libraries.
Mm-hmm. These are great questions. Do we have any more? Anything you're curious about? All right.
Yeah, I think it's kind of dwindling out. So
yeah, well, let me return here. I just want to make sure that everyone knows we do have some more upcoming webinars. So if you're interested, on September 22nd, we have a webinar by Jordan about Aspen Lita, which comes free with all Aspen Discovery instances. You can also learn some Aspen Discovery basics on October 5th. And then we have digital marketing with Aspen Discovery in November. So we hope to see you at one of these upcoming sessions. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. It was really fun.